Hey guys, so in this video we want to install a new instant hot water heater, in this case here for a shower installation. In case you're not interested in the unboxing part of the video, then just skip the first 2.5 minutes. Okay, so this is here a Stiebel Eltron version of a 3500 watt heater. On the back side we find here this interesting installation template that's really useful when we want to install this water heater on our shower wall. You see here the front of the heater has here this one dial. All the way to the left is just off position, and then you can crank it up to the maximum heating performance. On the back side we have here a mounting hole here, a bracket, and the hole for the wiring, and then on the bottom is another hole for a mounting screw. And then here on the side, very important, is here the safety feature to test the electrical system and to also reset it in case there is a fault. Then on the bottom we find here on the right side the cold water inlet. So we can take off this cap here, and underneath we find an interesting part here. That's the filter, a very small mesh filter. So this will make sure there's no debris coming into our water heater and clogging it up. So make sure this is always nice and clean and also installed. Very important. Don't forget to install this in case it does fall out. And then on the left side, of course, we have here the outlet port. So this is where the warm or hot water comes out. Here in this case, of course, there is no filter here because the water was already filtered on the inlet port. Okay, so then let's look at the accessories. This comes with a shower handle, very simple one, actually has multiple stages, and then here this very simple mounting bracket for the wall. Then we have here a little baggie with 2 screws and wall anchors. So those are for the mounting bracket for the handle. And then here we have a second baggie. So these wall anchors and the screws are for the unit, and there's also 2 gaskets to connect the wiring or the hoses. And then here one hose comes with it. So this is the hose that's going from the heater to the handle. So this does not come with a hose that you connect your water supply to. Okay, so then when we're starting the installation, first thing we want to make sure that our power is turned off to the wiring that we mean to use for our water heater. So in this case, this is your new bathroom, so the electrical wiring is already in place here in this electrical box. And in this case, the wiring comes from on top, from the ceiling down. So we have to make sure that we're not accidentally drilling any holes in the pipe and in the conduit that goes up to the ceiling. So that would be very bad if we did that. So we're going to take our template here, and our template shows us exactly where we have to drill our holes in order to install or mount the water heater. And of course we also have to consider the water supply. So in this case, this comes here from the bottom right here. So this is where we're going to connect our valve, and the water is coming from the bottom. So we are not going to work anywhere close to the water line, so we can forget about that. But really important, make sure we're not drilling here into our conduit. And we also should consider that our electrical box is somewhere close to that port on the heater where the wiring should go into. So first, make sure you don't drill in the conduit or into any of the wires. And then second, make sure the wiring is somewhere close to that inlet port. Okay, something like this, for example. Now, whenever I'm drilling into a tiled wall, then I do prefer to drill my holes into the grout, just so that I don't have to drill a hole into the tiles themselves. Unfortunately, in this case here, this doesn't seem to be possible because the grout are just too far away from that electrical outlet, the electrical box. You see, if we were to mount the water heater right here, then it would be too far away. Here the electrical box would be exposed, so we don't want to do that. So we have to move it here somewhere to the right. So then I'm going to take here my template. I have here a little hole where the mounting screws are going to be. And I'm just going to mark those here on the wall. So there's going to be 2 holes that we're putting the wall anchors inside of. You can also see that this template shows us what size of drill bit we should use. You see here, this should be a 6 millimeter drill bit in this case. So then we can prepare our drill here with that 6 millimeter masonry bit. Make sure it is a masonry bit, not just a wood bit or something. And then if your drill supports it, set it to the hammer position. So this will make it a lot easier to get that hole into your wall. Now unfortunately I forgot to take a video when I was drilling those holes, so I won't be able to show you that. But now let's open up our unit here, our water heater, and then we can see here the holes for the mounting brackets, one on the bottom and one on the top. And then here on the right side we have that port for the wiring. And then here we have the clamps for the electrical installation. So I already set up the housing. In this case, you can see here the screw is here on the top and on the bottom. And I've tightened those well. And then the wiring goes through that port. And we see here we have 3 wires, of course. The ground is the green wire, in this case the brown is our hot wire, and then the blue is the neutral. Make sure you are going to wire these correctly, so make sure when you check the user's manual from your water heater which wire should be connected to which port here. The green is usually the ground, but the other 2 cables, the coloring may vary depending. Usually in the US you have a black wire and a white wire. Sometimes you have a brown wire or blue wire and a black wire. So really make sure that you check your user's manual to do this correctly. This is really important to do this right. So and then we have here on the bottom the hose for the inlet. So I had to purchase this separately. This does not come, or did not come with the water heater. And this just goes here to our valve. So this is the cold water valve, and then this is connected directly to the water heater. Make sure that there's some gaskets in there so that we don't have any leaks here on the connections. And then on the left side here we have the outlet port for the warm water or the hot water. And here we have used these gaskets that we had to still put into the hose just to make sure that they don't leak. And then yeah, this goes then to our shower head. I have installed a different shower head. So this is a system with a big shower head and a small shower head, and you just can select between the 2. And now at this point we can close up our water heater unit. We have here these 2 little noses on the top of the cover, and those go into these little grooves here that we see here on the back side. So make sure those are hooked in correctly. Double check. It should be really easy to see if it's installed, if the cover is installed correctly, because everything should be lining up very nicely. Also here on the bottom end, same thing. And then don't forget to screw in that Phillips screw to hold down the cover correctly. And then it's time to switch on the breaker so that we are getting electricity to our heater, and then we can turn it on. And as soon as the water flows, then it will automatically turn off the heater component. And then one really important thing that we should do on a regular basis actually is press the test button here on the right side. In this case, we see this here, the black button on the top. When we press that, then the internal breaker should trip, and this little red light should be illuminating. So in this case, the test was successful. And then in order to re-enable our water heater, we're going to press here the reset button. That's the one on the bottom. So in this case here, the light should turn off, which it does. So everything here seems to be in order. Yeah, so that was already it for the installation of our instant water heater for our shower. I hope you found the video helpful, and if you have any more questions or comments, then please leave a message below.